Hello and welcome back. I am theundj, and this is Confessing Lies or Telling Stories. We look for all the truth in all the lies, every time, all the time. Let's get started.
The record, page 55 from the committee's interview with FBI. Have some administrative matters first. I wanted to introduce into the record page 55 from the committee's interview with FBI employee Roya Demlow, First, I wanted to introduce into the record page 55 from the committee's interview with page 55 from the committee's interview which took place on July 17, 2023. In that, which took place on July 17, 2023. In that, we're to leave this interview and we're to suggest or imply that when you said the laptop was real, that it meant that the FBI had affirmatively determined in October 2020 that the laptop belonged to.
She clearly made the mistake and then corrected it under her breath in real time at the exact same time. It's a good video. I like it. Are they controlling our minds, our moods, our energy? I think so. Can we prove it? Not as of yet. But we have enough to know, oh, they're doing something.
What if the first civilization on Earth wasn't human? In 2018, two scientists, NASA researcher Gavin Schmidt and astrophysicist Adam Frank, published a peer-reviewed paper asking the question, if an advanced civilization existed millions of years before us, would we even know? They called it the Silurian hypothesis. Earth is about 4.5 billion years old. Human industrial civilization is roughly about 300 years. If Earth's whole history was one 24-hour day, we would only show up in the final second of that day. Now think of what we leave behind. We've got plastic, concrete, pollution in the atmosphere, radioactive waste, but give it millions of years of erosion, pressure, tectonic recycling, and almost all of it disappears. There'd be no trace of us left. And that's what makes this idea so unsettling. The fossil record only preserves a tiny fraction of life that ever existed. So if a civilization rose, industrialized, and collapsed, and vanished deep into prehistory, it might not even leave a trace behind aside from some faint signal. And would it even look any different from a natural event? And how would we know? Well, here's where it gets a little bit weird. Around 56 million years ago, through ocean sediment core data, scientists found an anomaly. As it turns out, Earth's temperature spiked dramatically due to a sudden surge of CO2 in the atmosphere in what scientists call the Paleocene-Eocene thermal maximum. And if you compare what happened then with what's happening today, well, you catch my drift. Of course, debunkers and skeptics of this theory say that it was a period of extreme volcanism and methane release from the oceans, and that may be the case. But if there was a species, say a dinosaur-like species, that evolved and advanced to our level and beyond, and needed to survive some kind of global catastrophe, where would they go? Well, that's interesting because a lot of ancient cultures around the world made idols and iconography depicting beings like this, and also have legends about them coming from underground or under the ocean to influence humanity. And didn't the government just acknowledge that UFOs are coming from our oceans? But better look the other way because nobody came before us, right? Right?
The video makes a great point. We've been told that we clawed out of the ocean and came from like fish-like things. Then we've been told we evolved from monkeys. And of course, there's the, advanced species that created us. But a great deal of humanity believes in dinosaurs. And why is it not plausible? Because a lot of dinosaurs were bipedal, they could sit there and walk on two legs, that we evolved from that. And there you have your reptilians. So we have a lot of narratives, but we forget to connect the dots. Sometimes these narratives can connect together and make for a better theory. Either way, we'll keep searching. One day, all it takes is one slip up, That's it. They have one bad day, and we know the truth. Once you know something, you don't unknow it.
I'm going to give you a secret. Nothing in this world is what you think it is. Planet Saturn in the ancient world was called Lord of the Rings. Well, he is Lord of the Rings. And so women were told in the ancient world to listen to their god, so they would wear an earring. Men were to get married before their god, so they wear a wedding ring. Because Saturn was Lord of the Rings. He represents government, banking, the police department, all kinds of institutions that are powerful that can hold you back. He was the inhibitor.
Within the last 5 years, Saturn has really gained momentum as far as being talked about. It's usually Mars and Venus, but all of a sudden, now it's Saturn. I think it's about time to do a deep dive on that. If I find anything, of course I'll include it. I'll let you know.
Now, one of the world's greatest enduring mysteries is a mystery no more. For decades, the Bermuda Triangle has captured imaginations with stories of vanishing planes and ships. But now a new scientific theory claims to have finally answered this mystery. The truth is stranger than any myth. The reason is pretty simple, actually.
The drone footage had been running for less than 4 minutes when the crew of the exploration vessel Ulysses went completely silent. 700 meters below the surface of the Western Atlantic, in waters the world knows as the Bermuda Triangle, the camera was showing them something the ocean floor was not supposed to contain.
There's a shipwreck there, there's a shipwreck there, there's another one right there. That's just kind of strange.
Massive stone blocks, flat surfaces, right angles, clean geometric edges sitting sharp and unburied on the seabed as if they had been placed there recently. Not scattered, not eroded, arranged. The team had descended looking for the wreckage of 16th century Spanish galleons. What the footage showed them looked nothing like a shipwreck, and nothing like anything else in the scientific record. The blocks were real. The footage was authenticated. Independent specialists reviewed the data and could not explain what the cameras had captured. 25 years later, that explanation has still not arrived. This is what they found.
The Bermuda Triangle has long since been a place of mystery. Pretty much just like Antarctica. We've been given theories. We've been told, oh, it's just gravitational pull, or something happens that causes the ships to... I don't want to hear that. The same thing happens every time in the same place for that amount of time throughout history. Something's going on. Am I going to go check it out and see? Absolutely not. But do I know something's going on there? Yes, I do. If anybody else wants to take the trip, if you make it back, please let me know.
An Antarctic explorer who lives at the edge of the Earth not only saw everything with his own eyes, but also managed to secretly film the dome supports and other strange things. His video will follow, but first I will voice his story. I was part of the 47th closed Antarctic expedition in 2002. When I was included in a research group that was heading inland, the driver of their car got sick, and I replaced him. Before starting the trip, the head of the expedition instructed me and forced me to sign a non-disclosure agreement. He told me to forget everything I was taught in school, that the Earth is a sphere. It is flat as your frying pan, and we are on the edge of it. Everything is covered with a dome. Don't tell anyone about what you'll see there in the ice. We were also prohibited from taking photos or making videos there. We drove south for 6 days until we reached a wide river with unfrozen water. The head of the group forbade touching the water, saying that there was radiation. But what was on the other side of the river gave me goosebumps. There was a massive metal support about 2 kilometers high. The leader said that such supports are installed around the Earth every 53 kilometers. Supporting the dome? What dome? I asked. Watch carefully, he said. Indeed, if you look closely, you can see that the sky looks like glass or blue plastic. And from time to time, fireballs flew by, rapidly soaring up the surface of the dome. I pretended to go to the toilet and slid behind an ice floe. I started shooting on an old hidden mobile phone. However, the phone was old and the camera was bad. This is what I managed to capture. Now skeptics probably can't wait to print comments.
Oh, it's a fake, an old phone, a bad camera. But there is one catch.
I would have thought the same thing if I hadn't stumbled across the following video. This video was shot from the same angle, from the same river, but not on an old phone and not in 2002. It was in 2017, and the quality is excellent. Two videos from different sources. Of course, they could all fantasize, but the most curious thing is that they all fantasize the same way.
I agree. There's an old saying that people don't keep telling the same things about you for years unless it's true. And they just don't say the same thing about you. There has to be some truth to it if everybody keeps saying the same thing about you. The one thing we keep saying about this world is that it's not what we think it is. Possibly under a dome, whatever the case may be. So at this point, I'm at the point of not worrying about whether or not there is a dome. But I am glad that somebody is maintaining the dome. I'm not ready to be done yet. I've always said the concept of a snow globe came from somewhere, which is flat with a dome across it and an entire world inside of it. That makes sense to me. Why not copy what we are or what was designed? Either way, support beams. Good. We don't need it crashing down on top of us. I'll take it.
8 people on Noah's Ark and only 8 blood types in the world. Coincidence or a hidden pattern? I didn't know we still believed in coincidences. As a human race, I didn't know coincidences were still a thing. Like, what are we talking about? 8 people, 8 blood types.
Now, the video itself is not that significant. I included it just so I could talk about blood types. We are not discussing blood types near enough. There are hidden gems. There is a plethora of knowledge hidden inside the blood types and the fact that they are being tracked themselves. Destiny is simply tracking of blood types, bloodlines. Certain families are going to be certain ways, certain things are going to happen to them. That's just the way it is. But I really hope that in the coming years, especially 2027, 2028, 2029, the next 3 years, that I hear a lot more about bloodlines, because there is significant information showing how they control us, monitor us, and basically keep us where we are through the bloodlines. Help me out here, find the videos, send them.
They knew leaded gasoline was poisonous before they ever sold it to the public. They sold it anyway, for 60 years. And that's not even the part that should shock you. Thomas Migley Jr. develops leaded gasoline for General Motors. Within months, his own workers are dying, going insane, hallucinating. They called the plant the Looney Gas Building. Migley himself got lead poisoning and had to disappear for a year. Nobody talks about this part. In 1924, he stood in front of a room full of reporters, poured leaded gasoline directly onto his hands, inhaled it for a full minute, and told the world it was completely safe. He knew he was lying. But wait, because what happened next changed everything. General Motors, Standard Oil, and DuPont joined forces and created the Ethyl Corporation, purely to manufacture and profit from a product they knew was killing people. They buried every study, silenced every scientist, and flooded the entire world with it. And this is the part that should really disturb you. Scientists now estimate that leaded gasoline lowered the collective IQ of every person born between 1940 and 1980 by up to 7 points. Not a small group, not an isolated community, everybody, including you and everyone else watching this video right now. They poisoned an entire generation, globally, for profit. And leaded gasoline wasn't alone. Asbestos, DDT, PFAS chemicals, the list goes on. Profits over people. The playbook never changed. Only the product did. Comment profit if you see the pattern.
I don't believe for a second that they were not aware of the danger that lead has. But it was in the paint. If there's unleaded gasoline, then that means there was leaded gasoline. I'm not going to buy the fact that, oh, well, we didn't know better. That's why we didn't do better. They knew. But it was easier to make, I guess, with the lead. Maybe cheaper to make with the lead. Or they put it in there to do whatever they did to us. But to make paint and gasoline for that long, introduce it to the people, introduce it into society, let it make everybody sick, and then be like, oops, our bad. Lead and mercury, they did the same thing. They need to stop this.
So tell me, do you believe, was Disney trying to tell us something? Crazy, right? Some things are just an optical illusion, right? Well, is this an optical illusion? Look at that and tell me you don't know what that is. Go ahead and tell me that confidently and mean it, because you know darn well what that is. You can see it. No, that's not a carving. That's a petrified animal from the days of old.
Do you see this?
Yes.
Do you see this?
Yep.
It's freaking nature, and it's freaking awesome.
Yes, it is. And I don't think science can properly explain how these animals were petrified so quickly to where they were able to preserve their form through all these years. And you know, that really got me thinking. There's plenty of statues on this earth that are thousands of years old. Now, what if they were petrified beings? Now, I know, it's just a thought. And yeah, I can't wait for the Mount Rushmore jokes. And you can joke all you want, but I promise you truth is stranger than fiction.
I definitely agree with that last line. There is nothing more amazing, more fascinating than the truth. They can't make this kind of stuff up. I've seen all kinds of structures, all kinds of natural things out there, trees, mountains, that look exactly like things. No different than the clouds. You've seen clouds that just take the shape of something that you just know that's what it is. So whether it's petrified or not, some things just don't look like land masses. They just don't look like statues. They don't look like rocks. And there's no harm in wondering, hey, we need to know what that is. Is it something that used to be, or did it just grow like that? Did it just naturally happen to look like that, and our brain is just associating it with something else that we've seen? That could be. Or it could be petrified giant things that we might need to know about.
Listen up. So this is one of the astronauts that was on the Artemis 2 mission. But y'all gotta watch this.
Earth, it was all the blackness around it. Earth was just this lifeboat hanging undisturbingly in the universe. Uh-oh.
Looks like someone's earpiece malfunctioned. What's funny is this person right here has been described by commentators as straight out of Central Casting. I wonder why. Because she played in this movie as Volvolini. There's her name right there. Not only that, but I want to talk about this movie right here, Fly Me to the Moon. It was made in 2024, and it's set against the backdrop of Apollo 11 mission. The story follows Jones and Davis as she is tasked with creating a false moon landing in case his actual mission fails. Kind of like they did with the first moon landing. And this movie was supposed to be called Project Artemis. And in the movie, the code name of Project Artemis was a government backup plan, which was used to film a fake moon landing. The more you know.
They blame us for seeing things like this and saying, aha, we caught you. But it's not our fault that things line up to look this bad for them. Just a little bit of quality control can show you that your narrative is going to look bad. unless you don't cast an actor as an astronaut. Don't have your astronaut glitch and just freeze in the middle of giving what's supposed to be a motivating speech. You can fix these things. So don't blame us for looking at this and saying, hey, maybe you're lying. Maybe that's why these things are happening. It's not our fault. It's yours. You make it look bad. All we do is look at it, assess it, call it out. Do better. Or stop lying. Your choice.
This is New York in the 1890s. Allegedly, the first skyscrapers were built in 1885 in Chicago, and they just happened to build all those buildings in a few short years. This right here is Notre Dame in Paris. More Paris footage. Every last one of these people had plans just like you to go build that business, to go get that certification, to go start that nail salon, to compete in the next powerlifting competition like this guy right here. They all have big plans, and every last one of these people is in the ground. Your life is finite. And look, horse and carriage, but then they built all these amazing buildings around the world, and the buildings look the same everywhere. Every country has these Tartarian, Roman-looking buildings. Some of them look like the cathedrals. What I think we're watching here is just post-reset footage that the Lumiere brothers filmed. They want us to think that people were just living lives and, the history is real and we're not being lied to. When after the last reset in the early 1700s or late 1600s, they needed to create a society and make it seem like what we're being told is true. So they documented it. Oh yeah, people are just living their lives. They're just doing their thing. And they had to explain why all these buildings were here. That's why they come up with fake construction stories, fake architects. And, they're still riding horses. But they built all these beautiful, perfect buildings. They had the great technology and craftsmanship to pull this off, but they're still riding horses. And even buildings like these cathedrals, this one's in St. Louis. According to the Matrix, they built it in 7 years. It cost them $3 million. And these cathedrals are all over the world. They're certainly all over America and Europe. Okay? And what I think Tartaria is split between two sides. Between the Roman side and the millennial reign of Christ side. I do believe Christ already returned based on what Jesus said in the Gospels, based on what Josephus wrote about, based on the history, based on the made-up information all throughout history to hide the truth. Okay? And that footage, that 1800s footage we're watching, is them playing a movie in front of us to get us to believe a narrative that is not true.
I've always said that we didn't evolve, we were dissolved. He's right. The buildings, they don't make any sense, okay? They make absolutely no sense because these buildings are even more advanced than the ones we see today. They're more extravagant. They're well crafted and just a lot more luxurious. And we're talking 100 years ago. Easy. So something's not right. No matter what they tell us, common sense is always going to be there. And we can look at these buildings and tell that if we have buildings like that, there's no way we should be riding around on horse and carriages. That's just how it goes. It makes no sense.
Have you ever seen the clip of Obama giving Biden the Medal of Freedom? Doesn't look like he's very excited. In fact, he looks terrified. Now I'm going to let you watch this, and I just want you to look at his face. He doesn't look like a man holding back tears of joy or excitement. He looks like a man that's terrified and about to lose his soul, perhaps. What's this Medal of Freedom really about? Is someone being let free into him? I'm going to show you another clip after this that kind of goes along with what I'm saying. Like I said, he doesn't look like he's excited. He looks terrified. Now, I know we live in a spiritual world, and I can't say for sure what's going on here, but I have my suspicions. And I want you to watch this next clip, like I said, and also look. That's original Joe. You can tell by those.
I don't care if you think I'm Satan reincarnated.
And maybe I've been going about this wrong the whole time. Maybe Jim isn't wearing a mask. Maybe they're just shapeshifters. Have you ever seen this clip?
Clint Eastwood.
I don't care how good you are at manipulating your face. There are just certain things.
The man does look terrified. I will say that. It looks like they tried to prepare him. They tried to tell him not to worry. And he's like, no, this is not going to go well for me. Yes. And I've always said, if there's anybody who's probably not human, Jim Carrey is one of them. That man is far too talented. The things he does. When I found out he did the Grinch face for real, that wasn't makeup, that pretty much locked it in for me. Sometimes too much talent is a dead giveaway that you're not one of us.
Did you know that a lot of people watching don't know this? Did you know if you go to the hospital, right, and they take a scan of your body, that they actually cut your aura on the outside of your body so you don't see it? Right? Did you know the hospital did that?
That's why they keep the hospitals cold. They keep hospitals cold for that exact same reason.
Right.
They don't want us to know.
They don't want you to know that you got an aura outside your body.
They don't want us to know.
Why do they keep that away from people?
If people knew they could heal themselves, Big Pharma would collapse overnight. That's trillions of dollars gone. That's just a fact.
That's just a fact. And these companies don't even care about your health. They care about cashing in on the money.
For sure.
Right.
That's why they do certain things.
Right.
Johnson & Johnson got sued for giving you suntan lotion that gave you cancer.
Right.
The company that owned them made the cancer treatment medication.
Right. How could 60,000 people go one place and get HIV 1 and 2?
So, I totally agree. I'm not a hospital person. Fortunately, I don't get sick and things like that. I do my best to take care of myself, but everyone knows by now that there is no money in curing you. There's money in managing your conditions. You do simple things in life that will give it to you. It's pretty much everywhere. And then once you catch it, they manage it. And they manage it for the rest of your life. And they make so much money off of you. So this makes perfect sense.
They do satanic rituals where a lot of times they'll have a person there and they're going to sacrifice that person. And they say, if you don't ask the demons to come into you to take you to this location, then we're going to kill this person. So there's always a threat.
It's not your own life.
Exactly.
Wow.
So it's your, really, I say it's your Jesus heart or the heart that God put within you that has that compassion that they're trying to manipulate. So therefore you take on those demons and you go to wherever they tell you to go. And that sometimes in the satanic rituals, they take you where they want you to go. But there are times where you're at other remote locations where you have to go.
So as somebody who's never done such thing, not that I'm aware of, I mean, maybe, but I don't think so. What is that like? I mean, the only thing I have access to is Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
And so like, I try to tell people the idea of the upside down from Stranger Things. It's a real thing. I mean, there is another plane of existence that is operating. There's warfare happening. There's agendas that happen there. And I also am aware that people will often say, like, when they have a near-death experience, you know, it was more real than here. It felt so real. Like,
I mean, as far as you can recall, I mean, what is that experience
What it
being in the
feels
astral? Yeah,
like?
like what does it feel like? But does it look like this? Does it have trees? Like what is
Nah.
there? You know, like I don't know.
I guess the best way I can give you like a physical way of explaining it is like, you know, with the Lord of the Rings, when he put the ring on, it would be kind of fuzzy and he could kind of see things around, but it was very distorted.
Mhm.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like feeling like you're passing out, or when they take you to the brink of death, like doing torture on you, like it feels like your spirit is kind of getting sucked out of your body, like you're passing out.
So, we're not just talking about some kind of cosmetic drugs that they're using. This is serious. It's on another level. And because of the level that it's on, we're not allowed in. I just hope that somehow, some way, these practices are interrupted. They're stopped. They're halted. Because there are too many people being hurt or cut short, for lack of a better phrase, because of these elites and their rituals. Is too much. It needs to be stopped.
An artist from back then named Perry Lonica, right? He had claimed that there's many layers under St. Michael's, y'all. This painting is called Dante's Hell, right, y'all? And I just find it funny that this shit was way back then, and he basically illustrated Hollow Earth. Now, the other thing that I wanted to point out is this. You peep how that's like the sun it looked like? Hold on, I took a screenshot and zoomed in so y'all can see. They was basically saying that there's different levels underneath us, y'all. And that there's something at the bottom of there, and there's also another sun. It's also funny that in the Bible it stated that there's a place called Sheol that's like an inner earth, like some type of hell on earth inside of the earth though. And I know y'all remember the Hollow Earth scene when King Kong was falling. You can see the sun right there. Is it just a coincidence when you go on Google and you look up Hollow Earth entrances, right? And you see this, and there's a sun in the middle. There's literally places around the world where they said that you can walk to this place, but it takes miles and miles and miles. Like imagine walking downwards to the ocean beyond. So y'all just gotta think, yo. Is this far-fetched? Yo, I'm back on my shit, man. Wake up!
It makes a lot of sense. If the oceans run so deep that we can't explore everything, then why would land not be the same? We don't know what's up under us. We know we've been told, we've been shown videos of them digging. But if something as magical as oil is in the ground, then what's beneath the oil? What's down there? Who is down there? And can they get up here? Are they friendly? These are questions we need to ask. But whether or not there's surface level things versus different levels up under us, I think we already know there is. We've seen the caverns, we've seen the cities. There are things up under us that we have no idea how they got there. Anyway, thank you for keeping an open mind. Thank you for watching with me. Again, I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the engagement. Let's talk about it. Let's find this truth. Until next time, I am the theundj. This is Confessing Lies or Telling Stories. I'm out.